A6JG.
Okay.
PGQ, I could maybe give it a shot.
If you don't mind, that would be great. I'm just not in a position to do it tonight, Bob.
Okay, well, it may be a little disjointed, but I found the net control script, so I think we could get started.
Thank you very much. This is AE6JG standing by.
Okay, well, let's hope that one of the pens that are sitting here will operate. So we'll start off. Good evening. This is Bob, N6PGQ, your net control operator for the River City Arc's Slow Scan TV Net. This net serves for training and practice in image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on the N6NA repeater on 441.30 megahertz. River City Arcs members and all licensed radio amateurs are welcome to participate. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions and the control operator will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact the net control by saying break break. The double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. Stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I'll recognize each station before continuing. Any station who wishes to check into the net, please come now.
AE6JG.
Alpha India 6 Delta Golf.
November 6 Whiskey Lima Mike.
This is Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta.
Okay, well, we have Alpha Echo 6 Juliet Golf, Alpha India 6 Delta Golf, November 6 Whiskey Lima Mike, Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta, and I'm November 6 Papa Golf Quebec. Are there any other stations? Okay, well, we have five so far. So AE6JG, are you ready to send a picture?
I never thought you'd ask. Thanks, Bob. Let me do a quick tone test.
Tone worked well. The floor is yours.
Here we go, PD 120.
Okay, well, I don't know what I've done to my poor old computer, but I didn't get anything. So we'll move down to AI6DG. What did you see on your end?
Very nice photo, nicely received. A few pops here and there. Slight moray pattern, but that could well be on my end. I keep having that. So we're looking at the end of a table. We gather we're under a pop-up since we're in shadow. Looks like we're in a park in the background with other pop-ups in the distance and some picnic tables in the near ground. So all surrounded by grass and we got trees and anyway. On the table we've got the head of a mobile VHF UHF rig, I presume, on a little stand with a power supply sitting next, no, it's a battery sitting next to it, and then the radio itself next to that. Miscellaneous power cables and a mic sticking out from that. It's on the rear right side corner of the table, and in front of that we have, looks like a water bottle on the right, and then a pad with a pen sitting on it, and to the left of that a stack of papers. Probably the pad is probably for logging. It looks like I see a grid printed on it, which could be a form to fill in logs, and printouts on the stack of papers to the left. I don't know what they are. So could be field day, could be some event, but someone's having a enjoyable day out in a park or at an event operating. Hope it was a cool day, considering the weather we've been having. Back to net, AI6DG.
Okay, well, thank you for that. I'm playing with knobs on my signal link. November 6th, Whiskey Lima Mike, what did you have to see?
Yeah, fairly good copy here. We're in the shadows. It's a little hard to make out what's going on. I see similar to what Joel mentioned. There's a remote head. It looks like one of those big, I don't know the name of the radio, but they call it the big head. And there's a straw hat there to the left. Some kind of check-in list or some kind of paperwork in front with other pop-ups. And I don't think there's any Hamfest or any other related things recently. So maybe this is an Aries event or some kind of public-facing event that you spread the awareness of ham radio. But I'm not sure. I'd like to hear the story. N6NA back to net.
Okay, very good. So back to AE6JG. Why don't you tell us what you have?
Thanks, Bob. This is AE6JG. This is the my net control setup for the Great American Triathlon, which was a Sac County Aries event. We had about 20-plus operators up and down the American River keeping track of the runners, bikers, and kayakers. And this was my setup. It's an FTM 400. If you look close, you can see the top frequency is N6ICW, and the bottom frequency is a tactical simplex channel. Joel, as usual, does an excellent job of describing everything. We're near the start-finish area, and we're also next to Sacramento CERT. So this was a few weeks ago on the American River. The paperwork is logging paperwork on one side and communications plan on the other. This is AE6JG.
Okay, well, very good. I'll continue to twist knobs and see what happens. So, number 2 is AI6DG. Are you ready to send us a picture?
Was there tone?
There was tone.
BD 120.
Well, that came through on my computer. So let's continue on. And Carol, what do you see? KP4MD N6PGQ.
Okay, this is KP4MD, and a good copy here. There's a couple dozen pixel pops you can see in the blue sky, fewer in the foreground. This is some kind of, it looks like a pedestrian bridge going over a river. I have no idea where this is. A young lady looks like in the foreground there riding a bicycle towards us. And then a group of 3 people with their backs towards us that are going, I think they're going away from us, going across the bridge there. And there's a tree on the left there. A couple of poles in the middle of the roadway, I guess, to try to keep vehicular traffic from going over this bridge. Interesting. I wonder if this is somewhere over the Sacramento River. I don't recognize this bridge particularly. So back to Net. This is KP4MD.
Okay, Carol. Well, thank you very much. Well, my guess is going to be an educated one. I think this is the Guy Wurst Bridge, and it goes from Campus Commons to Sac State. And if my vision is correct, you're looking from the Sac State end down to Campus Commons. And the picture quality is real good. There are some pixel pops that are noticeable in the sky, and I don't know what kind of lens was used to take the picture, but it looks like the person on the bicycle's wheel is not completely round, and so the edge of the picture looks a little bit distorted. So we'll go back to AI6DG and see what he has to tell us about the picture. This is N6PGQ.
Yes, Guy West Bridge, Sac State, looking west. When they first put in Sac State many decades ago, they eventually also built some off campus housing on the opposite side of the river from it, and put in the Guy West Bridge for pedestrians to walk back and forth. This picture was taken quite some time ago. This area looks absolutely nothing like this now. The bridge has been repainted. The trees and vegetation's grown up, so I don't think you can see the river from this spot anymore. I suspect the shiny metal railings and the bridge itself looks pretty much the same, but the posts are probably different. And the big change is if you did a 180 and looked in the opposite direction, because there's definitely new buildings that are there, and the ramp that used to go down from here to the road has changed. The road itself has changed. Wait 10 or 20 years and just about any place changes beyond recognition in some cases. And I imagine me standing here, the lady on the bicycle probably wasn't too happy with me because she had to zigzag around me. If I remember right, this is a section of a spherical panorama where I took multiple pictures all around, so it's basically 360 degrees around and almost 180 degrees top to bottom. And this was just a screen cap of a display on the computer of that spherical panorama. So there's a very wide perspective, and yes, the edges are going to be distorted. I'm trying to put a spherical projection onto a flat screen. You get rectilinear distortions when you start, well before you approach 90-degree field of view. And that's probably what this is. This is a favorite picture. I like the action that's presented in the photograph by the person on the bicycle zooming past. Back to net, AI6DG.
Okay, very good. Now it's time for November 6th WLM to send us a picture. Are you ready?
I am ready. This is November 6 Whiskey Lima Mike, and this will be PD 120.
Okay, man after my own heart. AE6JG, what do you see in the picture?
This is James, AE6JG. Well, I see a Kenwood handheld radio HT on the left without an antenna that looks like it's hooked up to a old 10-key calculator or code machine or sewing machine or something. I don't know if these are the guts of an Enigma machine. I don't know what this is. No, it's not that. All right, very interesting. A few pixel pops throughout. Good quality transmission, though, Bill. Very interesting. I look forward to hearing about it. Back to net control. AE6JG.
Okay, very good. AI6DG, what have you seen?
Okay, the Ken left, the mechanism on almost the entire picture. The Kenwood's just the left quarter of the picture. The entire 3/4 to the right is this mechanism. They're both sitting on a white towel on top of, as you can see, a wood grain on the upper left, a wood-grained table top. It's some sort of, I would guess, powered as compared to strictly mechanical mechanism. We see a bunch of keys on the bottom lower right, a right arrow, a key missing a button, and then 13068 and 24579. And I see some red pointer arrows halfway up the mechanism. So I wonder if those are light bulbs behind that. Maybe we're missing a cover that would light up specific numbers. And maybe those pointers slide back and forth. Something. Oh, they could be decimal place indicators. Cool. I see. Oh, there's some numbered dials that are slightly offset inside some slots, just part way up. I don't know what this. Not a calculator. The placement doesn't seem right for a calculator, but it's doing some sort of computing or measuring and displaying stuff. And anyway, I love stuff like this. You know, old mechanical typewriters, old calculating computing machines with the buttons and knobs and things to turn, and the clickings and the windings and the whirls. And to think they actually did computing and figured out how to construct bridges and buildings and things so that they wouldn't fall back down. The stuff they spent days calculating that we now have within seconds. Absolutely amazing. There are some pleasurable things about how they did things in the past. Well, at least for us looking back. Probably not for them. Back to net AI6DG.
Okay, thanks for the comments. Okay, Bill, what do we have here?
Yeah, you guys are very good guesses all around. It's actually two separate stories with my picture. I wanted a twofer because originally I was going to talk about my Kenwood here, but I ended up picking up this mechanical calculator today, so I thought I'd show it off because it's kind of cool looking. So with the mechanical calculator first, it is a Faceit. It's a Swedish mechanical calculator that could add, subtract, and I think multiply and divide if you know how to do it. Made in Sweden and about the 1955-ish date range. I picked up for a very cheap price because it doesn't work. So I've used about half a bottle of sewing machine oil on it all so far, and I'm able to actually get it to move the dial at least. But I haven't been able to spin it to do any calculations. So I'm slowly trying to work it, and hopefully by the end of tonight I can actually get it spinning and calculating. That'd be really neat. For the price, it's a nice piece anyways, just to show a decoration, a conversation piece. I'll let it drop. The other thing I wanted to show off was this. My new Kenwood HT. I bought it used. It's a Kenwood THD72. That's a Tango Hotel Delta 72. It's a very popular satellite handheld. So if you want to do full duplex satellite work, this is a nice handheld for that. And it has built-in GPS and does APRS. But the thing you guys didn't notice in the picture, the SMA connector has been broken off. So it sheared right off the first time I left the house. I was carrying the baby, and it fell right out of my pocket. So I have it on order from Kenwood. And the other issue with this handheld is it actually only outputs 1 watt. So I have a FET and a transistor coming in the mail that hopefully fixes the low power issue. But that's what I get for buying used. Anyways, N6WLM back to net.
Okay, Bill. Interesting story. I'd be interested to see a picture of it producing a total. Yeah, you can see the number row on there if you look real carefully. I think that's really kind of neat. Okay, next in the list is KP4MD. Carol, do you have a picture for us, this N6PGQ?
Yes, I do. And actually, being this is a Swedish machine, it's a shame that Anders isn't here because he probably would have some comments about being from Sweden himself and into all kinds of mechanical stuff from there. This is going to be PD120, and here it comes.
Thank you for that, Carol. I guess it's my turn to comment. Quality's good. A few pixel pops throughout. We have a device that is approximately 3 inches long with the ruler at the bottom, and apparently has 1 wire going in and 2 wires going out. The wire going in is labeled line, and the wires going out is labeled load. And it says, if I can read upside down, EMI filter. And it apparently may not have any lead solder in it because of the ROHS indication. So be interested to know how Carol has this hooked up. This N6PGQ, the next person to look at it is James, AE6JG. It's your turn.
Thanks, Bob. Well, I'm wondering if this is something, Carol, that you installed to reduce interference from your HVAC system. I'm very curious about it. I love the soldering jobs on the wires, the connectors. Those are beautifully done. I can't. It's 3 inches wide. I can't tell how deep it is, but interested to know what it is exactly and how it's being used. In terms of the quality of the picture, I have pixel pops throughout and then the station ID at the top. This is AE6JG, back to net control.
Okay, very good. Okay, Carol, what are we looking at?
Okay, yeah, this is KP Fram. You're right, James. It is an RFI filter. They call this a brute force line filter, and I don't have it installed yet. I just wired up a couple of those jumpers that you see there to the left on those screw terminals. They're supposed to go to the load, which is the external air conditioning unit, and there's nothing really on the line side. The line side is going to be the 240 volt wires that are currently connected to the air conditioner. Now, the one ring terminal that you see on the right side is actually going to a screw that's below the one that's in front. It's that's a ground screw. So there's two screws right on that side. We only see the top one, which is the one for the line. And I bought this from Amazon. It was like $15. It's rated for 20 amps, 250 volts. So I ran it by WB6UBK, John, who's a professional electrician, and said this is probably, given the specs of the air conditioner that actually only draws a maximum amount of like 15 amps at 240 volts, this should be fine. And it's got it's a two-stage low-pass filter. If you, of course, it's a balanced low-pass filter because you see both of the leads there on the 240 are above ground. So the ground is it's important because that's what's actually going to be draining off the RFI away, and hopefully this is going to clear up that awful static I get across from 18 megahertz all the way up to 30 megahertz whenever I have the air conditioner compressor running. So yeah, when I did the 10 meter net, I had to turn off the AC. I had the house cooled off enough so that I was able to turn it off, and it was bearable. So yeah, I'm going to actually bring this to a meeting. We have a meeting of the SFM club tomorrow night, and I'm going to show it to John and see what he thinks, since he's the electrician. He's the owner of Geyer Electric, but he of course retired just about a year ago. So that's what this is. Nice shiny EMI filter, brute force filter. So back to net, KP from.
Okay, thank you, Carol. Well, if my modem will work, I will send a picture, and this is PD120. well, hopefully that transmitted. So, N6WLM, Bill, do you have a comment?
Yeah, great copy here. Very few pixel pops, very clear photo. It looks like some kind of electric motor, maybe, on a blue towel. There's a rusted bolt in the upper right connected to some kind of black metallic structure, maybe a part of an assembly for wherever this motor goes into. A couple of different bolts mounting more things together. It looks like an electric brush motor to me, but I can't really tell what goes where. So I'm a little lost. Usually I'm pretty good at these things, so I'd like to find out what exactly I'm looking at. N6WLM, back to net.
Okay, very good. Carol, KP4MD, your turn for a comment.
Yeah, okay, this is KP4MD, and I'm kind of a little familiar with this kind of construction. It kind of comes from our time when we were young people. It looks like a DC motor. That thing in the center that rotates is called an armature, and down at the bottom of the armature, you see the contacts there going to the DC motor brushes. I don't know if that's called a commutator or something. I'm not sure what they call that, but it's those two things on either side are the brushes, the DC brushes. I am going to take a guess, since Bob does a lot of antique automotive stuff, and it's just spinning something around in that structure up above. I'm going to guess this is a old electric car horn, and it's turning something in there that makes a beeping sound, comes out the right side of that device up there. That's the horn's inside there, and the sound comes out of that right side. It's kind of an outlet there for the noise. I'm making a guess on that, but this is a really nice piece of vintage mechanical stuff. I like that. So back to Nets, KP4 Mike Delta.
Well, you can't fool Carol. I'll explain this a little bit. This is a 1932 Ford Auga horn, and instead of having a vibrator in there, which makes a beep, it uses an electric motor, DC motor, as Carol said, and the shaft that is at the top goes onto a diaphragm, and as the motor turns, it vibrates the diaphragm, which increases the sound of the horn. And when the horn first starts, it makes the as the voltage comes in, and then as it spins, it makes the ooh sound, and when you let go of the horn button, it slows down. The plate that vibrates makes the ga sound if you adjust it correctly. And the fulcrum at the very bottom is how you adjust the tension on the shaft that goes through the motor, so that it doesn't just go or it doesn't just buzz. So you gradually adjust it until you get the right sound. And it is on a blue towel so that we could have some contrast. So that's that one. Do we have any questions? Hopefully I didn't time this thing out. Does anybody have any comments on any of the pictures, or do we have anybody else that has joined the Slow Scan Net since we started?
I haven't seen anybody on the YouTube chat, but I do want to say thank you very much for sharing that picture. It gave me a sense of solidarity with the past. I remember seeing stuff like this when I was a kid. I had a cousin who worked on cars and would show this kind of stuff to me. So I still have those pictures in my mind. I don't think no modern cars have this stuff anymore, but everything now is all electronic. They kind of shy away from physical things that make noise. Back to you, KP from D.
Okay, and I'm going to ask a question. Does anybody know what type of resistor I would use to drop 12 volts to 6 volts without the resistor burning up? It pulls, a fair amount of current.
Wow, if this is a 6-volt horn, I think what you need to do is measure the resistance of the horn and then get a wire wound resistor of the same ohm value so that it cuts down the current in half, and it'll cut down the voltage in half also. And you would have to figure just multiply the current by the 6-volt drop across it. That'll give you an idea of the wattage of that. It'll be a pretty large resistor, I'm guessing, but usually those big wire round bar resistors will do that.
Okay, well, that'll give me a place to start. I should start, doing my Ohm's Law thing, all that kind of stuff. Anybody else have anything for the net this evening before we kind of pull the plug? We're getting close to 10 o'clock. Does anybody have another picture they'd like to send, or should we call it a night?
AE6JG here. Bob, thanks for taking the net. We're getting ready for a trip, so I've been in and out. I appreciate you doing it.
Okay, James. Well, then I will thank everybody, all 5 of us who participated this evening. We hope to see everybody again next Wednesday at 9 o'clock p.m. And we're going to close the net now at, what do we have, 9:46 local time. And this is Bob, N6PGQ, wishing all of you a good evening. 73.